click, click. Hello everyone, this is Take from bigheadtaco.com, and I'm coming to you here live inside a super cool car. It is the Maserati QS4. What is it now? I gotta double check here. It is the Ghibli SQ4. Now this is a monster. Basically it's a four-door Ferrari, 0 to 100 kilometers in 4.8 seconds, top speed of 282 kilometers per hour. This is a very nice car, 404 horsepower, but it's four doors and you can put child seats in the back. But I'm inside here. My hairstylist Karen allowed me to shoot a video in here because the last time I did a review in a car, not about a car, was with the Leica Q. And the next time I shoot a video with this car, it has to be something exotic. And I was trying to hunt down a German automobile, but you know, there's nothing wrong with shooting inside an Italian sports car. So here I am in here doing a second review of the Leica Q, meaning I've had it again for the second time. So the first time I reviewed it, I had it for a week, and now this is my second week with it. Unfortunately, I have to return it back to Leica today. So I can only do a second review, not a full long-term review, and that hopefully will eventually get done. But from the last time I reviewed it to this time that I've shot with it again, I learned a few little tricks. So hopefully I'll share those with you, and hopefully you'll find those effective. So I'll try not to repeat my first video, but of course this is an all-in-one Leica full frame. Basically it's a glorified point and shoot. What makes it not a point and shoot like the other X series is that this actually has a built-in electronic viewfinder. So this does make it more functional, a lot like the Fujifilm X100T, which is, I would say, this would be more similar to the Fujifilm, just because other than people say, oh well, it's 3 times the price, the sensor size is different, but shooting style is very similar in that it's a built-in lens, it's a rangefinder style with the viewfinder at the top left corner, so you're shooting it like a rangefinder, and with all the external controls that both these cameras have, they shoot very similar. So I did kind of do a street comparison. To be honest, I always had this Fuji with me while I had the Leica. I never took out the Fuji, and it has nothing to do with the full frame, because to me that makes very little difference when it comes to street style shooting and how I process and share my images. So I'm not blowing them up to poster size, I'm not putting them on the flicker so people can pixel peep, but really it's the 28mm lens. So that's going to be the biggest minus and the biggest plus for this camera. For Leica shooters, most of them are used to 35 or 50. You can tell by the amount of M-mount 35, 50 lenses that are out there versus 28, that those are the two more common focal lengths. 28 for me, because I shoot the Ricoh GR, I'm used to the 28 wide, and other photographers, especially perhaps those that are press photographers, photojournalists, they like the wider lenses. So to me, the reason why I gravitated toward this is that I can do closer, more intimate type pictures. And so there was nothing for me to get used to, where others who are used to a 35, and even more so if you're used to shooting 50, a 28 is quite a big difference. And if you can't get used to that distance, then I wouldn't say I wouldn't recommend this camera, but I would probably say I would caution you, perhaps try 28 with the style of shooting that you're used to. So especially street, you're going to be shooting closer. And if you're new to street photography and you have the money to buy a camera like this, sometimes confidence is the thing that you have to overcome in street photography. And shooting 28, immediately it forces you to get really close. And if that's something that you're hesitant on doing, you're going to end up shooting too far away, and the images will be, it just looks like you're too far from your subject. You end up cropping almost every picture. And I don't recommend cropping as a regular part of your processing of your images. You're better off just having a little bit more pull power, for instance, shooting at a 35 or a 40 or even a 50. So that's not a matter of negative or positive, that's just the way it is. Let's start off with some of the weaknesses that I found. John Lehman, a photographer for Globe and Mail, he found that this custom function button here is a little bit too flush and smooth and small, and that is true. and also I would add to that this extra function button, I wish it was next. I wish the two buttons were here, because it makes more sense to have most of your shooting features right next to your thumb. But to defend Leica a little bit, I would say that Leica, form follows function. I don't 100% believe in that. I think form and function should be equal when it comes to something that not only has to do with functionality, but as well as aesthetics. But Leica tends to lean more towards form than function. So the aesthetics is important. If it wasn't important, Leica wouldn't keep this flusher. They'd have a grip, because that's more functional, right? But no, it's about form. It's to keep it looking nice. And this is a beautiful camera to look at. So if you look at the back, there just seems to be this aesthetic balance. All the buttons this side, there's a button here, but it's kind of hidden almost. And then you have this little indented thumb grip, reverse thumb grip in here. So it's about aesthetics. So I think another second button on this side would be nice. No need to mark it, because that ruins the aesthetics. But could it be a little bit bigger? I guess it could be a little bit bigger. But other than that, I think this is a great looking camera. I overlook some of its functional weaknesses, if you can call it that. The trade-off, it being a beautiful looking camera, and that's, let's be honest, that's the reason why a lot of people lean towards Leicas, is because they're beautiful cameras to look at. But this camera can perform, and one of the things that photographers have been worried about is the image quality. This camera will take fantastic pictures. The image quality is great. Is it equal to the 28 Summicron or Summilux on an M body? I would say yes. Shooting with both, I have a review of that as well, so I'll save that for later. But I would still personally lean towards an M body with an M lens, but I think that if you want an all-in-one compact package for $4,200 US, it's hard to beat this, because I think Summicron, and an M bodies, you're already spending 10 grand. So that's one of the call it weaknesses. JPEGs are another weakness. I've gone monochrome, basically desaturated. There are no JPEG profiles in here, so which is good. Leica, always shoot raw with Leica. Their JPEGs are, they're okay. I desaturate, so I'm shooting black and white, which helps me focus more on composition, not so much color. But the JPEG is desaturated black and white, but the raw files are still in full color. So that's the thing. So shoot DNG raw and JPEG with this camera. Another weakness, it's hard to say. I really enjoyed shooting with this camera. The only weakness, what can I say? I really love, like, as I mentioned, as I was trying to compare these two, I never took this camera out. If I had the money, I would definitely buy this, but would I get rid of my Ricoh GR? Well, no, because they shoot very differently. The Ricoh GR I had, because it's compact, it fits in my back pocket. I take it to dinners and bike rides. It's very compact and easy to carry. Or if you have a camera like the Sony RX 100 series, this is not a replacement for those kind of cameras. But this definitely, if you can shoot with the 28mm wide, this is a great camera to have. Will they come out with a Q35 or Q50? I think there's a demand for it. So if Leica, based on the sales of this, I think they probably will, or perhaps come up with a lens adapter, which to me, I think would ruin the aesthetics of this camera, and it doesn't seem like a Leica thing to do. As well, the fact that the aperture ring's up front. And that's one of the things I like about this, is if you're a Leica shooter, everything's in the right spot. Fujifilm, the X100, has the ring at the far back, so except by feel or seeing in the viewfinder, you can't really see what you're at unless you sort of look down on it, like looking straight down. With the Leica, like their M mount lenses, the aperture ring's right up in the front. So because of that, it's much easier. Even from this angle here, I can still see what aperture I'm at. And then straight down is very easy to see. So aperture ring in the front, focus tab and ring just behind it, and you have your focusing scale and then your macro adjustment back here. So this is a great camera. Everything works on this as it should. The focus peaking is fantastic, super bright, way better than the Fujifilms. Focus peaking. The AF is very quick and accurate. I am pretty certain that by looking at the X series cameras and how they implemented autofocus and all these other features, this is also touch screen. I found the touch autofocus shooting very useful in street photography when shooting from the hip. But I have a feeling that Panasonic probably helped them a lot on this camera. When Leica goes it on its own when it comes to electronic features, it's, you know, at best they're just okay, but at worst it's nowhere near the other competition like the Sonys or the Fujis. But this one can keep up or betters the Fujis, the Sonys, and it just seemed to come out of nowhere. So they got help from Panasonic most likely, and that's a good thing, because let Leica focus on what they're good at, which is optics and ergonomics as well as aesthetics, and then have a company like Panasonic to come in and help them with AF and some of these other features that make this camera a great all-in-one camera. So anything else positive? Or actually, you know what positive I like about this is this exposure comp. So everything, to me, when it's set up, is where it should be. So this here, exposure compensation, if you notice, as soon as you first click it, it actually just activates it, okay? So you can't accidentally click it once and then you adjust the exposure, but you click it once, it activates it, and then it works. See that? So if you're shooting, you click it once, and then quickly you can do exposure compensation, which is nice. This one here, I have it on AFL AEL mode, which allows me to autofocus while I press this, and then I can just shoot. If you put it on AFL only, it disengages the autofocus half press, which is also good because then it doesn't reset the focus when you shoot. It separates it, but you have to remember that. As well, you have to remember that this is not electronic. This is a mechanically coupled focusing. There's a single lens element that's shifting, so that also makes the AF fast. But manual focus is an actual mechanical linkage. So when you're in manual focus mode and then you try to autofocus, it does not work, okay? It doesn't work because it's mechanically disengaged the coupler or the mechanical mechanism that allows the autofocus. So you have to actually click it back in AF mode, where other cameras like the Sonys and the Fujis, when you're in manual mode, you can just press that back button and it'll autofocus, or vice versa. If you're in autofocus mode and you turn the ring, you can immediately tweak it by manual focus. You can't do this with this camera because this is a real mechanically coupled, you're physically moving the lens element, that one element, to focus. So that is a good thing. So you have to get your mindset that even though this is a point and shoot, it's nothing like any other point and shoot out in the market. And comparing it with the other X series, even the latest X Type 113, other than the optical, like the image quality, the AF is faster, the implementation of the touch screen and the you know, the mechanical autofocus here. I know the X series has that, but aperture, it's up here, right? So this aperture ring being here makes more sense. So to me, this is a real Leica Summa Lux. Well, it's an f1.7. So this is a you know, because it's full frame, you're getting that proper rendering that you would get out of a Leica M mount lens. So if you love the 28mm aspect ratio, I mean the focal length, and you want full frame, there is nothing like it out there in the market. The Sony RX1 is close, but that's almost 2 years older, doesn't have a built-in EVF. The focusing and the aperture implementation is not as nice, and I would argue image quality, you know what, I would say the Zeiss 35 f2 on the Sony is probably as sharp, but I like the rendering of the Leica lenses, as well as I like the 28mm focal length. So that's my conclusion shooting with this camera. It's a fantastic street photography camera. Oh, one more thing, one more negative I was going to mention is that the electronic and mechanical shutter speeds, if like Fujifilm and other brands, if Leica can do a firmware update where you can turn off electronic if you wish. One of the reasons is you don't want rolling shutter, and if you don't want that, you want to limit it to the maximum 1/2000th of a second mechanical, because after that it jumps to 1/2500th and up to whatever it is, 1/15,000th or 1/20,000th of a second electronic. But you get rolling shutter, and also flash sync is up to 1/2000th of a second. So for flash sync, if it goes over 2000s, the flash doesn't work. And I tried that with the EF X20 flash from Fujifilm, the compact flash. So the only workaround is to actually mechanically turn this to 1/2000th of a second, and then now it won't go over that. It stays in mechanical shutter speed. So that's another thing. If I mean, it's not really it's a weakness, it's a minus, but it's easily fixable in firmware updates. So thank you so much for watching. Again, coming inside this beautiful Maserati sports car. Next time, I'm gonna try to be inside a German sports car, or Porsche, or something else exotic, an Audi perhaps. Let me know what car you want to see me in, and I'll try my best to do that. I have another cool Leica camera on its way in the next couple of weeks. So thank you so much for watching. And Karen, thank you so much for letting me use your beautiful, still smells new. I wish I was doing car reviews, but I'm not. But nice new car smell. So thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Happy shooting. Click, click. Are you ready?
What kind of moves you want here? Like
any moves, give me anything, man.
Okay, how about I do like a little? I'll do like a little MJ thing. Are we filming already?
I'm filming already. We're.
I'll be like.
Keep on going. Keep on going.
All right. You want to dance with me?
I like it. Oh.
No, you don't want to dance?
Not right now.
What a okay. Oh, they're filming.
It's nothing personal.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Here we go. I'm gonna do just like a simple. I don't even know if I can do it.
Oh, nice snap.
Top lock.
I like it.
We're done.
Click, click. Ooh.